Hi everybody, my name is Jim Ryan. I'm here to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about my talks. My talks are uplifting and empowering. The talks are about being happy, being at your best every day, feeling good throughout the day. And I always begin a talk with a question. I have a question before we start. Raise your hand if you'd rather not feel good during the day. Raise your hand. Who would rather not feel good? Come on, I know you're out there. No, we all want to feel good. But so often we get, it gets buried in the day-to-day. We have our home, we have our family, we have our kids, we have our parents, we have the shopping, we have so many responsibilities. Often we forget why we do everything we do. And that's to be fulfilled, to be happy. It gives people the idea of what's coming. We're going to talk about how to feel good, how to be at your best every day. I've spoken to all kinds of audiences all over the country. My message may not be germane to the topic of your conference, but it certainly is a great way to get the conference off on the right foot. After my talk, people are happy, they're ready to communicate, they're ready to share, they're ready for anything. So it's a great kickoff to a conference, no matter what the focus of the conference might be.
Great job. Wonderful. Great message for all of our staff. Great job.
They were pretty engaged.
They were very engaged. They were really engaged. And, as we mentioned, laughed at all the right times. And I think they really responded to the personalization of the message. Yeah. And they all know who they are. We all know who we are when you're saying certain things about happiness or choosing to be happy or not to be happy. It resonated, I think, with everybody. So great message. I'm going to use some of it in my faculty meeting now.
Good.
So great job, really.
At
some point during the year, I'd like to give you a call so that maybe we can bring you in and have you talk with the PTA or our student leadership, because your message is just great for everybody.
It is.
I was really, impressed with the way that you're really able to hold the crowd's attention, because, I know, this bunch here, and they can be definitely a tough crowd at times. And so, to get that response from them the way you did, definitely said something about what you were presenting.
I got started in this part of my life back in the year 2000. I used to be a teacher. I taught French and Italian. I became a guidance counselor. And along the way, I went into business. But I've always been interested in personal development. I've always read a lot. I've gone to seminars, listened to tapes. And back in the year 2000, I just realized I had all of this stuff in my head. So I said to myself, I got to get this stuff out of my head. So through the years, all of a sudden, there's been a flourishing of testing done about happiness. There was everybody was always studying the negatives. Now they're studying happiness. And the prevailing wisdom these days says out of our happiness quotient of 100%, the studies show 50% of our happiness is genetic. What does that mean? That means I'm born of parents, and I have tendencies that I've inherited from my parents. If my parents were the life of the party, chances are I have an outgoing personality. If my parents were shy and a little quiet, chances are I've inherited those tendencies. They're tendencies. We're going to come back to those tendencies. Can't deny it. They say 10% is our circumstance. Did I go to a good school, like West Islip schools, or did I go to a school where the hooligans ran the place? Did I live in a safe neighborhood, or was it dangerous to go out at night? And you know what the other 40% is? What I do with what I've got. So 40% of my happiness is totally me. So I spoke to some friends, and I was directed to the jail out in eastern Long Island. And every Monday for the last 18 years, I go to the jail and I teach a class in personal development to men and women who are locked up for multiple DWI convictions. It was a turning point for me. They like the program. They shake my hand. They say thank you. It just fills me up to go there. And about 3 years into that experience, their positive reaction to my message led me to take the message to the public. So I started giving talks in libraries about how to be happy, how to be at your best every day. And the seventh characteristic of happy people is happy people show appreciation. What's the opposite of appreciation? And don't say depreciation.
Disregard.
Disregard. Okay, right. Here's appreciation. Here's disregard. What's in the middle? Apathy. Good. I like to say taking for granted. Same thing as apathy. Anybody in East Meadow ever take anything for granted? We're all stars at taking things for granted. How do you feel when you're taking something for granted? I never heard anybody say, yeah, I'm taking that for granted. Makes no sense, but we do it all the time. We take so much for granted. And we said we want to feel good. So the simplest thing is to start to be grateful, start to appreciate things, little things. Tomorrow morning, again, when you throw your legs over the side of the bed, what's your thought? It could be, I'm above ground. That's number one. Thank God I can get out of bed by myself. There's a lot of people who can't get out of bed by themselves and wish they could. You got plenty of time to deal with the day, but right now when you wake up, thank God I can get out of bed by myself. And you feel good. Then you go down to the bathroom. What's your thought? Don't tell me. It could be, thank God I've got indoor plumbing. I bet you there's more people in the world without indoor plumbing than with it, and we take it for granted. The only time we think about it is when it's stopped up. Oh no, I got to go down to the other bathroom. And it's there. I mean, people ask me, Jim, I want to be happy. How do I get started? And I always say, number one, intention. You got to want to be happy, and you got to know it's possible. And number two, gratitude is the place to start. We can all think of thoughts that were of gratitude. A million things, all of us, all day long. One of the things that separates me from other speakers is that I always integrate music into my programs. I find that music livens the atmosphere. It gets people awake. It disarms them, and they're ready to listen. Sometimes I'll even customize a song for the audience in front of me, and that has been very, very successful. But inside I know my class will be fine. But some days, just to get back home and have that glass of wine. I have a couple of signature talks that have been very, very popular. People love these talks. The first one is 8 characteristics of happy people. And the 6th characteristic of happy people is happy people understand they have options. Just because I've lived my life a certain way up until now does not necessarily mean that that's how I've got to live my life for the rest of my life. Simple, right? Not easy. But it starts tomorrow morning. I want you to pay attention. When you throw your legs over the side of the bed and stand up, are you one who says, good God, morning? Or are you one who wakes up and says, good morning, God? And the second one is managing thought, the key to success in business and in life. He says if so often we'll see something in nature, maybe it's a beautiful flowering tree in the springtime, or somebody walking a cute dog, or a piece of beautiful music that we can relate to, and we enjoy it. But then we go on to the next thought. It just comes and goes. He says if you can embrace that thought for 15 seconds, whatever that pleasurable thought is, really embrace it and feel good about it, that creates a pathway in your brain. Little teeny pathway. And again, the more you do it, the more the pathway gets, that path gets deeper and deeper. It's just like you walk through the woods once, it means nothing. You keep following the same path in the woods, you beat a path, and then you know where you're going, and that tendency can be one that you choose to create in your life. And along the way, I wrote a book called Simple Happiness, 52 Easy Ways to Lighten Up. And it's been the most exciting time of my life being out in the public talking about how to be happy, how to be at your best every day. People crave what I have to offer. It's been so exciting traveling around the country, speaking to all different kinds of audiences. And I invite you to look a little bit further into this video and see if my message is going to fit into your plans.
My name is Dan Bryan. I work with AHRC, that's Association for Healthfully Retarded Children, and I take care of developmentally disabled adults, where I teach them music and art. My company asked me to come to a seminar convention today, and I registered for a couple of classes, a music class, and one was a class on joy. And I said, I got to go to this class. I show up at the class, and I wasn't expecting what I got, but I got Jim Ryan. And let me tell you folks, Jim Ryan is the real deal. He comes to you, he starts out singing, and he comes to you from the heart, from experience. He uses quotes from many spiritual and inspirational people that you're all familiar with. He teaches joy, but he not only teaches joy, he lives joy. If you get a chance, come see this gentleman, Jim Ryan. He is fantastic. He will make your day. He brought joy to our room. Everybody left with a smile and elevated. I totally recommend Jim Ryan.
I always spend time with the organizer in advance of any of my programs to figure out what are the concerns, what are the issues that are facing the people that I'm addressing, so that I can customize my talk and really make the talk real for the people in front of me. I've had people say, Jim, I felt like you were talking directly to me. I hope you've enjoyed this little video about me and my talks. I hope you understand now a little bit more about who I am and what my message is. Probably by now you've checked out my website, jimryantalks.com, but I always find that a couple of minutes on the phone can be very helpful in determining if I'm the person you're looking for to make your event a big success. So let's talk. Let's see how I can fit in to your plans. Thank you.